Have you ever woken up with the nagging feeling that something isn't quite right in your life? You follow the routine. Wake up, work, sleep, repeat. But deep down, something feels ... off. This unsettling realization often comes from the simple truth that the life you're leading may not truly be yours. It's shaped by societal expectations, external conditioning, and invisible pressures that began long before you could consciously choose your path. Think about it. How many decisions have you made that were truly your own, free from the fear of judgment or the need for approval? Let the thought sink in for a moment. It's a truth that many avoid, but is essential to face. From childhood, we're handed a script, rules of behavior, roles to play, and beliefs to adopt. Be good, get the grades, land a job, and smile while doing it. These roles, layered on us by parents, teachers, and society, can feel like heavy costumes we've never had a chance to take off. It doesn't help that we're praised when we follow the script and subtly punished when we don't. We create personas, masks, really, to fit these expectations. They make us feel safe but cost us one vital thing: authenticity. But here's the kicker. These masks can't protect us from the whispers of our deeper self, the one longing to be seen. Think about those moments when you feel like you're just playing along in life, nodding and smiling, while a part of you screams, "This isn't me." That, my friend, is your true nature knocking on the door. The truth is, living someone else's script leaves you with an emptiness, a void that all the success, applause, or external validation cannot fill. What's missing? You. The authentic, unmasked version of yourself waiting to break free. But how do you even begin to uncover what's real under all those layers? That's where Carl Jung enters the picture. And trust me, his insights are a game changer. Carl Jung believed that life doesn't truly begin until you confront the question, who am I really? It's not about adding new layers to your identity or building something from scratch. Instead, it's a deeply transformative process of uncovering what's already within you, the raw and unfiltered self that societal roles and conditioning have hidden. Jung called this journey individuation, where a person integrates all fragmented aspects of their being to step into their most authentic identity. Imagine peeling back layers of an onion, each one revealing something closer to your core. Yes, it can sting, but oh, is it worth it? Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever made a decision that felt so right, so aligned, that it resonated in your gut? That's a small taste of what it feels like to connect with your authentic self. But here's the tricky part. Finding yourself isn't just about gaining self-awareness or knowing your strengths. It's about digging deep, way past the surface, straight into what you've buried. Old desires, suppressed emotions, hidden strengths. It's all waiting for you. Jung didn't see this as a mere intellectual exercise. He saw it as a profound psychological growth, one that reconnects you with the wholeness you've forgotten. But this journey isn't for the faint-hearted. You'll need to strip away what you thought you were, the masks, the limitations, the roles handed to you. And for many, this can feel like losing control. But instead of fearing that dismantling, imagine it as breaking free from a cage you've been trapped in. It's the difference between existing and truly living. However, before you can embark on this journey, you must examine the roadblocks standing in your way, because these obstacles, most of which have been with you since childhood, are the very forces that keep holding you back. From the moment we're born, the world begins to mold us. Names, roles, standards, all imposed without us even realizing it. As children, we're taught what's acceptable and what's not. Don't be too loud, stop being too sensitive, be realistic. These messages, however subtle, bury pieces of our inner self under layers of conditioning. Over time, we conform, smoothing out the edges of who we truly are to fit into the neat little boxes society has designed for us. But the cost? Our authenticity. Most people don't even notice the weight of this conditioning until much later in life, when they start to feel a vague yet persistent sense of unease. To survive in this world, we end up creating a mask, what Jung referred to as the persona. The persona is like armor. It's how we navigate relationships, fit into social groups, and gain acceptance. But here's the rub. The more we identify with these masks, the easier it becomes to think they're who we are. We forget that beneath the polished exterior, there's an inner self-longing to be seen. Meanwhile, what we suppress, the desires, fears, and true nature we're afraid to show. forms what Jung called the shadow. And the shadow doesn't just disappear, it lingers in the unconscious, quietly shaping our behavior in ways we don't even realize. Think about those times you've been irrationally upset by someone else's behavior. Maybe it's an overly confident coworker or a friend who speaks their mind a little too freely. Could it be that the very traits triggering you are parts of yourself you've hidden away? This is what Jung called projection. It's as if the parts of our shadow we've rejected sneak out and reflect back to us through others. But here's the thing. These projections, while uncomfortable, are actually road signs pointing to what we need to confront. The question is, will you keep turning a blind eye, or are you ready to explore what's been lurking in the corners of your unconscious? The shadow, those hidden, suppressed aspects of ourselves, isn't our enemy. In fact, it's one of the richest sources of personal growth we have. Yet most people spend their lives running from it. Jung's revolutionary insight was this: integration, not avoidance, is the key to self-discovery. Facing the shadow means bringing it into the light, acknowledging its presence, and even learning from it. Sure, it's uncomfortable to confront what you've hidden, old fears, suppressed emotions, and unacknowledged desires. But imagine the freedom that comes from owning these parts of yourself instead of letting them control you from the shadows. Let's get practical for a moment. Think about a time you felt irrational shame or guilt, maybe for being too emotional or wanting something society deemed unrealistic. That's your shadow, nudging you to pay attention. Ask yourself, what might I be rejecting that actually holds value? Perhaps behind your fear of being vulnerable lies immense strength, or within your anger resides a boundary you've been avoiding setting. Jung believed that when we integrate these hidden forces, we gain not only authenticity, but also profound personal power. A reclaiming of the energy we've spent on repression. But here's where the real magic happens. When you embrace your shadow, it stops pulling the strings in secret. Those flashes of self-sabotage, persistent feelings of inadequacy, or unexplained emotional outbursts, they begin to lose their grip. Instead, you're left with a deeper sense of wholeness and freedom. A life lived on your terms, not dictated by what you're running from. And yet, the shadow is only part of the story. To truly understand yourself, you must see how these hidden pieces connect to universal patterns shaping all of humanity. Enter the power of archetypes. Archetypes are the universal patterns that Carl Jung believed exist within all of us, shaping how we think, feel, and act. They belong to what he called the collective unconscious, a shared reservoir of ancient wisdom that transcends culture, time, and space. Whether it's the hero striving to overcome challenges, the shadow revealing hidden fears, or the wise mentor offering guidance, these archetypes aren't just characters in myths or books. They're living forces within your psyche. For example, when you face adversity and summon courage, you tap into the hero within you, following a timeless narrative scene across countless stories. Have you ever wondered why certain paths in life feel familiar, even predictable? Jung argued that archetypes act like psychological blueprints, guiding us through experiences we might not fully understand. Take the shadow archetype, for instance. It's not only the darker aspects of yourself, but also the monstrous obstacles you must confront to grow. The hero and the shadow are locked in an eternal dance, pushing you to face inner conflicts and overcome hidden fears. Think back to times of change or personal challenges. Those moments were likely shaped by the tension between these two archetypes. But it doesn't stop there. Beyond the hero and shadow lie the anima and animus, representing the feminine and masculine energies within each person. These aren't about gender, they're about balance. The anima brings intuition, creativity, and emotional depth, while the animus embodies logic, discipline, and assertiveness. When these energies are in harmony, they create wholeness. When they're out of sync, inner conflict arises. For instance, someone rejecting their anima might struggle to express emotions, just as rejecting the animus might leave someone hesitant to take control of their life. But understanding these archetypes isn't the end. You must also understand how identity itself is more fluid and interconnected than we tend to believe. What if the version of you that you believe to be you is only a fragment of a much larger truth? Carl Jung challenged the notion of a fixed identity, arguing that the self is not a static entity, but a constantly evolving and fluid construct. This illusion of self is largely built by the ego, that inner voice defining who you are and who you are not. The ego clings to memories, labels, and external achievements, creating an image of identity that feels safe and familiar, but is far from complete. Yet, beneath that surface, your deep self, the true essence of who you are, remains quietly waiting to be discovered. The ego isn't inherently bad. It helps you navigate the world and keeps your life in order. But left unchecked, it becomes a barrier. It draws borders where none exist and creates fears of failure, judgment, and rejection that limit your potential. For example, have you ever hesitated to pursue something you deeply wanted because you were afraid of what others might think? That's the ego, whispering insecurities and clinging to a fragmented sense of self. Meanwhile, your deeper unconscious, filled with symbols of your authentic identity, constantly tries to remind you of the wholeness you're capable of. Jung believed that our identity extends beyond the personal. It is connected to the collective unconscious shared by all humans. Think of archetypes, myths, and universal patterns like the hero's journey. These aren't just stories, they're ancient wisdom embedded in your psyche. What if your current struggles are not signs of failure, but invitations to shed the ego's illusions and embrace a more expansive reality? To see yourself as both an individual and part of something much greater is to begin freeing yourself from the limitations of this fragmented identity. And with this newfound awareness, you can start to move towards practices that help you uncover your authentic self. Stepping into the journey of self-discovery isn't about reading all the right books or suddenly overhauling your life. It's a deeply personal, ongoing process that begins with one crucial step: accepting the unknown. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. It thrives in moments of uncertainty, vulnerability, and even discomfort. Think about those times you avoided silence, diving into work or distractions because facing your thoughts felt daunting. What if instead you leaned into that quiet space and simply listened? Try this. Spend 10 minutes a day without distractions. No phone, no tasks, just you and your thoughts. It sounds simple, but it's profound. Another essential key to unlocking your authentic identity is letting go of rigid labels. You're not just your job title, relationship status, or past experiences. These are facets, not definitions. Start questioning the roles you've clung to. For example, have you labeled yourself as not creative because of something someone told you years ago? Challenge that. Pick up a notebook, sketchpad, or an instrument and explore freely without judgment. Jung believed that creativity and self-expression are conduits to your unconscious, where hidden forces and untapped pieces of your true self reside. Lastly, pay attention to the messages of your deep self. Dreams, emotions, and even patterns in your behavior are your unconscious mind speaking to you. When a recurring fear, memory, or symbol surfaces, ask yourself, what might this be trying to teach me? Keep a journal and write down your thoughts and dreams each morning. Over time, you'll notice patterns, clues pointing toward parts of yourself that need acknowledgement and integration. But let me be clear, this isn't a destination you reach, it's a lifelong process. So how will you take that first step into deeper authenticity, knowing that the ultimate reward, freedom, awaits just beyond? Imagine waking up every day feeling fully aligned with who you are, without the heavy weight of others' expectations or the need to wear a mask. Living authentically doesn't mean you won't encounter challenges, but it does mean you'll face them as your true self, unafraid of judgment or rejection. The first step to this life is to acknowledge where you are now. Are you living in alignment with your true nature, or are you playing a role written by others, whether it's parents, society, or even your own fears holding you back? Now is the time to question what's real and what's been borrowed. Carl Jung's teachings remind us that embracing wholeness means accepting both light and shadow, the admired parts of yourself and the ones you've hidden away. The journey toward freedom isn't about becoming perfect, it's about shedding the personas that no longer serve you and stepping into the full expression of your being. Vulnerability is a key part of this process, and yes, it's uncomfortable. But think of vulnerability as a doorway, not a weakness. When you allow yourself to feel deeply, you not only uncover hidden strengths, but also begin to live with a deeper sense of purpose and meaning. So, the question becomes, are you willing to face the illusion of self and step out of the shadows? To embark on this journey of self-discovery isn't easy. It's a profound commitment to yourself. But what's waiting on the other side is a life that feels truly yours. one guided not by fear or societal conditioning, but by authenticity and the deep self you've always carried within. And as you begin this inner journey, you can start to see that the answers you've been searching for have been with you all along. Will you take the step forward? Now that you've delved into the powerful teachings of Carl Jung and uncovered the hidden forces shaping your life, the question remains, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you let it sit idle, or will you take the leap and begin the journey to find your authentic self? Remember, life doesn't truly begin until you break free from the masks, confront your fears, and embrace the shadow you've been hiding from. It's not easy. Transformation never is. But imagine how freeing it would feel to live without fear of judgment, fully aligned with your true nature. That's a life worth reaching for. So, ask yourself, what part of your persona feels the most like a distraction from who you really are? What's one fear or suppressed emotion you can start facing today? Take small steps. Journal your thoughts, reflect on your dreams, or sit alone with your feelings. This isn't a sprint, it's a lifelong practice of introspection, integration, and self-awareness. But every small step toward individuation is a step toward personal power, wholeness, and psychological growth. Don't let fear stop you. It's time to step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. If this resonated with you and you're ready to go deeper, don't stop here. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to continue exploring how you can unlock your potential. Together, we'll dive into Jung's insights and discover how to achieve spiritual fulfillment, freedom, and a truly authentic life. So, what's stopping you? The journey begins now, and it starts with a single choice. Your choice. Are you ready to find the real you? Let's take that first step together.